Okay, share my screen. Everybody see that all right?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Let's do a little housekeeping here. Okay. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. All righty.
Very
So,
nice.
sorry?
Yeah.
That's a nice piece.
Is
Oh,
that the
thank you.
same gal that was looking through the bookshelves with the eyes?
It is, yeah, it is the
I
same
don't
one.
recognize those
Very
eyes.
pretty, Alan.
Yeah.
Same location,
Mhm.
different, obviously a different view from it. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like the white vignette really helps it out too. It makes it look a little
Mm.
ethereal.
Mm.
Nice.
Alan, the crop you made of her with the blue eyes last week was beautiful.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that was on a recommendation from Sandy. I'd have to
Yes. Sandy cropped it.
That looks good. I don't know if losing a little top on this would help or not. Of course, you'd have to redo the vignette, but let's just have a look. Somewhere in there. Yeah, maybe.
That works.
Yeah, and then just open up her face just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lighten up, you think?
Yeah, I would lighten it up just a tad.
Yeah.
Maybe even just the eyes. Let's have
Okay, all
let's
right.
have a quick look.
Yeah, there's some really nice light in this library. It's just really give you some nice effects.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I don't have the new one. Okay, no big deal. They've added landscaping to the mix now so that you can do a lot of separate masks for local corrections like you can on people. It's got some kind of interface, so that's pretty neat. Let's get over a filter here, camera raw. And okay. So we'll go over here to the local masks. Let's see. Yeah, it's in here. So yeah, you can do landscape just like you would do people. Let's see if it finds her. I guess they must have another one out since the one I downloaded last week. All right, so that's all of her entire person. You can just do the facial skin
Oh,
and you can do eyebrows, but I don't think they need anything.
well,
Maybe
you know what? I didn't know that existed. I always went into Neo to do this kind of things.
yeah, this will be very helpful. So anyway, yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do the hair, like say we want to put a mask on the hair. All right. And then if you hit this, it'll create all separate masks instead of one with all of them. So then you got four separate masks. So basically, here's your skin, and we can take that and let's see if exposure. Yeah, just a hint of exposure, maybe like 10-15%. Yeah, maybe 20. And then let's see here. Maybe we might just want to add a hint of white. Yeah, maybe about 3%. Okay, that should do that. Then here's the eyes. So if we want to lighten the eyes a little bit, I would probably just take the white up a here. Maybe exposure too. Yeah, it's too much. Just a little bit. And then here's her iris. So we can get it a little closer for that. You can see that. So there you go.
Excellent.
That's
Amazing.
where those eyes are. All right. Let's see now. Now for the hair, maybe you might want to just add a little texture to it. Yeah, maybe some clarity. Yeah, there you go. So,
That's excellent.
That's
yeah,
really nice.
I did
That's a
not know
great
that
photo.
existed in there.
yeah. So, um, so
It's nice.
here's your before. Here's your after.
What's your commission from Photoshop?
I wish. I wish.
Excellent.
I guess
That's
paying
good.
my subscription every month. Okay.
Alan, on this one, when you shot it, did you overexpose the frame?
No, I lightened it up a little bit. It was very light to begin with, but it was
Lots of light.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those enhancements would help.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, I
move
like that.
on here.
I really just kind of threw in some images here today, guys. I didn't spend a lot of time, so
Mhm.
Well, in this one,
This
I'd
one
probably
is-
take the background down to get some separation.
yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe see if we can get a little more detail in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Nice.
A good one.
Down at the pond, I just liked obviously the texture and the color in the wings. So
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, that works out nice. I don't think I'd do anything with that one.
yeah.
Ah,
Nice.
Now I'm gonna tell you the name of this photo. Should I tell you the name of it? Can
Yeah.
anybody on a dark desert highway?
highway.
Mhm.
Cool winds at the- Yeah.
So this was about a week ago. So
Yeah, amazing.
Is that the road, Cerrito Road or somewhere?
yeah, it's the road up to the observatory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Just
Yeah.
it's not a great foreground, but it's all right, I guess.
Mhm. What do you guys think? I think maybe you can darken some of this down a little bit. Well, especially this here.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then maybe overall just kind of bring all this down just a little bit. So it doesn't compete with the sky so much.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You got one more.
Oh,
That's nice.
What kind of bird is it?
Nice.
Anybody know?
Wilson's
that's
warbler.
a little yellow warbler,
Okay.
and yeah, just down at the Canoa Pond there again.
Mhm.
There's quite a few of them down there. They're pretty hard to catch. They move. They don't stay in any one spot for too long. So
I'll bet.
this this he's in the shadows, but his little face is all highlighted. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that works out nicely. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
The Zoom is being signed in on another device. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Okay. Let's just, I don't want to lose you guys in case something happens here.
There's Kim coming in.
Oh, is Kim here? Good. That her? No. Okay. Let's go back. I guess we'll just go down the line here.
Mhm.
Okay, Dave.
Okay, folks. Today I've got the big belly bomb tour of the fair fries. In this series, I'm using my watercolor filter And I noticed, not every single image can be rendered the same. So there's a little bit of variance on the filters processing throughout this series. And I learned, sometimes just go for what looks best, because I tried many, many times various filters and gradations of effects and whatnot. So, anyways, this first picture I call Time for Fries, and the man's wristwatch is very prominent, and he's holding a big block of fair fries just dripping. This particular clump of fries was covered with bacon bits and whatever else he put on it, right?
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah. So, and I got some nice blur in the background. So I ran this in watercolor, but there's variants of watercolor filters you'll see as we go through this series.
Mhm.
Time for fries.
Yeah. I would suggest if you can somehow darken this side down, that would be helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
I
real
agree.
funky. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really blurred. I guess my camera's super focused right in on the fries. You know what I mean? Everything
Oh yeah,
else got
sure,
blurred.
sure. Which I don't mind. I would just darken it down
A little
so
darker
so
for
nothing.
framing.
Yeah, just all this area here. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just. I know you don't use Photoshop, but maybe you can find something
Yeah,
that
let's see if it can be done. Yeah.
I'm sure it can. Let's see here. Close all this stuff out. A lot of new features in the current April release.
Yeah.
YouTube videos you guys can catch. I'll send you a couple links to some real nice stuff. So anyway, let's go camera logo. I'm just gonna use a brush and auto mask. Just gonna kind of pick this area here.
Yeah.
I would just maybe even just try dehaze. That might be enough to
Oh, yeah, Sandy.
take that
Yeah,
and exposure down.
yeah. Then it frames everything more.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Mm. Yeah, I think we got it most of
Yeah,
it. There you
Sandy.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Move on.
Okay, folks. Crazy fries composition. Sandy, this has a symmetrical flop on the two outer panels and then focuses in the center on the curly Q swirling pattern of the big block of fair fries there. It's just a swirling mess. And, I didn't know that I had photographed so many people holding fries. I just did that one day at the fair. And I managed to have so many of this sort of thing that I put together this series. And it's got to be very careful cropping because of course it's very blown out. And if you crop in too close on the hands, it looks like a lobster claw, or it's so abstract you can't read it. So this I had to run through many different programs and try and blow out some of the highlights, reduce them down. And anyways, I tried many compositions and wound up with this large panel. It's all about that huge block of fair fries. Look at that swirling mess.
Pretty neat. Do you have more of a center image left
Do I
to
have
right?
what? Yes, of course.
I would almost think maybe you could, rather than cutting a straight line, maybe you could kind of angle it up and get rid of this can, or
Yeah, the
maybe get rid of the
cans. Yeah.
can. Yeah, another way. Maybe later on when you start getting into different programs, you can revisit this and just eliminate the can.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting, Sandy, because when you're working with a filter and you're sliding the gradations of the effect, that can came more in focus,
Yeah,
and then the fries became more out of focus, really. So,
yeah,
yeah, valid. Yeah, the can is a little it's not the subject.
right. Yeah, later, I mean, you'll pick up a lot of these things once you get into different programs. You could also take layers and bring back maybe the original layer before the effect was put on, where the can's less prominent, and make that your background in that area.
Yeah, that's interesting. I probably could have made this remove the background, and it probably could have taken the can out. I didn't think of that on this particular one. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then just have a different background.
Or maybe not the whole background, maybe just that section.
Yeah,
Just a thought.
sure.
There's a lot of
No,
ways to do it,
appreciate it.
but yeah, I think the can's got to go.
Yeah. Okay, folks, fries galore at the Festival de los Vaqueros here in the Tucson Rodeo. Their fries are like a big giant clump of potato chips. And so the process of making this picture, you can see the fry cook here on the right, and they're wearing these big, bright red ketchup colored shirts. And there was another cook standing in front of him. So what I did is just stretch the shirt across the picture plane so I could insert this PNG of this woman walking, holding the fries. So this is an abstract creation collage. And then I put back in the chips, the fried chips. It's very abstract, but you get the idea that there's a whole lot of fries going on.
Yeah.
And the ketchup color of the shirts,
Mhm.
Ketchup
This
and
is
fries.
run in a watercolor, kind of softened it.
Mhm. Doesn't seem to have as much of an effect as some of the others. Like maybe you can pull
The,
some of this effect into this one, keep it
yeah,
connected with the
Sandy, there's,
group.
when they become these big build outs, they render differently. I had to try different types of filtering
Okay.
and different gradations. They don't all render the same, and they don't render the same. You can do it twice and it's different.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
on some of these, I had to save it and then come back and render it again and then compare which is better.
Right.
And some of them, the watercolor got muddy and brown and ugly. The chips got ugly. So I
Yeah.
had to keep experimenting. It was a lot of work to make a choice.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
I was trying to I like to keep the theme together, but sometimes they don't render the same. So you'll see in the next panel, it's like a wild card. It's a totally different type of watercolor rendering, and it looks, there you go.
Yeah, but I think that ties in more than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
This one,
does.
yeah, this one kind of
Absolutely.
odd man out. So maybe you can revisit this one down the road when you find something that'll work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with AI, even if you use the same prompts, every time it's different. It's
It
too
is.
bad
And
you can't
Sandy, this
tell.
is a watercolor filter, but it's getting more to look like AI, but it's not AI. These are all original photos.
Oh, no, no,
And
no. I
I just
understand that.
rendered it and they were so cute. I said, okay, I'm going to leave it like, and I ran this one maybe 6 times in variations. And this particular one turned out so cute. Look at them in their anticipation of eating the fries. They're so happy. She's almost clapping. They're getting to where they want to go. The backdrop is one of these giant tarps that the food stands have. You got your ooey gooey chili cheese fries in the background, and you can see satisfaction guaranteed off to the right. So I call this one fried satisfaction.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, getting back to my talking about AI, I know the images are photographic, but I think the engine that's propelling these effects that you're
Yeah.
using is AI induced
Oh, of
in
course.
the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sandy, their faces, their hands, their bodies can render in so many different
Oh,
variations.
I bet. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like this one, Dave. This one looks good to me.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Alan. I think
I
it's cute.
agree.
It's fun. You guys know I'm just interested in fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just fun.
I think this one and this one work really well together.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, yeah, if you get rid of the can and then
Yeah.
go back to this last one. Yeah, that could even work. It,
This one, okay, folks. So she is done with the fries and she's on to the corn. And I think this one rendered beautifully in the watercolor. I got a nice close up of her eating the corn at a fair. And the original photo's real nice, but I've been using watercolor. So I rendered this several different times and I chose the best one that I thought had that watercolor effect. And I think it's impressive.
Dave, what program are you using though? Maybe I
Uh,
missed,
it's Jim, it's called Be Funky.
but is it in your like your iPhone or what is
Oh
that?
no, it's we subscribe to it. It's on the computer.
Oh, I see.
is it
And
web-based or do you download
yeah,
the
oh,
app?
yeah, it's on the web.
Okay, so you
It's
keep
Oh, it's web-based. Okay.
and they have so many different filters and post-production tools. But like Sandy, the brush that you just used in the first one, if I try to single out a specific area, a little bubble comes up and says you have to upgrade for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like if I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
do the work that you're showing me how to do, I
Okay,
would have to upgrade
I gotcha.
and just haven't gotten that far along. So I'm just using what I got
Yeah,
to
hey,
create pictures.
you're doing quite well for that. So I think maybe a new poster's in order of I guess fairground food groups.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be fun. Well, great.
Thank you guys. And then Alan, I just wanted to mention something on the technology. Alan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
We did get Backblaze. We loaded our whole computer on Backblaze, and we
Oh,
feel
that's
so,
good.
yeah, we feel so much more comfortable having that backup.
That's pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, good suggestion. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yep.
I was just wondering, your photos didn't come with the cholesterol warnings, no?
Yeah, the cholesterol. Yeah,
Cholesterol and arteries. They harm arteries.
yeah. Be careful with the fair food. It's dripping with grease and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're trying to get health warnings for alcohol now.
For alcohol,
Yeah, I guess in Alaska, I was hearing something on the radio this morning where they post signs kind of like on the cigarette packs can harm can cause cancer. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Maybe they'll get to the food with all these heavy deep fried things next. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Well, you're up, Don. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank
well, I
you.
picked up a used 70 to 300 lens to Nikon for traveling purposes so I didn't have to drag the 200 to 500. So this is all these shots were taken with that, the test run, see whether I want to keep it or not.
Uh-huh.
So I was out the lake, and these are just the Canadian geese, the goslings. They've all hatched, starting to hatch now, and that's just what these are.
That seems pretty early, no? For them to
Seems a
have.
little soft to me. I tried to crisp it up a little bit, but
Yeah, you can
It's
probably
good
cheat and
stuff.
put a little highlight in the eye and sharpen the eye up a little bit more.
yeah, it was black. I did do a little bit there, and
Yeah.
but was afraid to do any more.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just take a teeny little airbrush with just a little bit of white. And white might be too bright. You can kind of do off white and take your opacity way down and just kind of tap it.
Okay.
You know, in the direction light's coming from, which seems to be from this direction here. And I think you can get away with the softness since they're so fluffy anyway on the rest.
Yeah, well,
The
I was
beak's
figuring that was
sharp enough.
probably part of it.
Yeah, yeah, and the beak's certainly sharp enough. So it wouldn't take much to make this um, believable. Yeah, just a little work in the eye and you'll be in good shape.
Okay.
All right. Oh,
And this is
nice.
the family here that was in the water.
That's perfect, Don.
that's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
The lead goose was the head come out dark and stuff, so I put that in luminar and I lightened that up a little bit and
Mhm.
brought that out pretty good.
Excellent.
It's an amazing family picture.
Well, you mentioned Luminar. I think I put it in the last email, but
Yeah.
the club has 2 cuts of Luminar now. So if you're in town, you want to try it, and you don't have it, they have a PC and a Mac version there at the club. So that's there. And then again, you can go on YouTube and get the basics pretty quick.
Okay.
Right.
And these were just another bunch that was off around on the other side of the lake. These were the only two that weren't sleeping.
It's funny the way this one's standing with the body like that. It reminds you of those things that you used to have as a kid where it would go into the glass of water and swing off the legs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, this one works pretty well. Again, you could probably just go in selectively and lighten up this.
Right in the eye again. Okay.
Yeah, just a hair, but I think you're pretty well there. Let's see.
All right.
Yeah, you can use a little bit.
And these are tree swallows. The sky was really blue, and I tried to take some of the blueness out of the sky, and I ended up with a halo around the birds then.
Yeah.
And I think I picked the halo up out of in Luminar, I think.
Mhm. Could be if you're using structure or
Yeah, I went too much with it, trying to bring the birds out.
yeah, if you do that and you're using the mask and structure or any of that,
Yes,
then
yes.
stay away from the edges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in other words, like, let's see, we're not going to actually do it over again, but hang on, I'm going to move you guys so I can get to my programs here. So if we go into Luminar, you're making this mask. Let's just say we're going to use structure. All right. So you hit mask, say you're using a brush, and you can use your
I
pen.
usually do the let the AI pick the object out, and then I click on it.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then what you would do is just go inside of it and either feather it, inside or outside of it, and just erase around the edge here.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit with a soft brush, so it kind of hints in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm talking about that white circle, not the green one. The outer white circle, just that would be the
Oh,
soft
okay. I see.
brush there. Yeah. Just kind of go around and that would,
Push it back in then.
yeah, push it back in. And you can kind of see it as you go. I hate the fact that when you're painting it turns red because it's not interactive. You don't see it till after you let go of the brush. But unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Hoping they'll change that. But right now, just do a section of it, see if it's working for you.
Okay.
Too much or not enough, you'll know how to adjust accordingly. Make the brush smaller or softer or bigger or going further or not far enough. Not as far rather, and you can get it where you need it. All right. Get back to This guy.
And this here is just a shot of weeds, and I did Alan's motion.
Oh.
Try to bring some interest into it.
I really like that, Don.
That is nice, yeah.
Yeah, I like it
think, you
too. Yeah, it's very nice.
Mhm. Done motion in as a filter, or
Yeah.
actually did you move your
No, as a
camera
filter,
as a
filter in
filter?
Photoshop.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I like it. I'm kind of biased maybe, but
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Jim Bowman.
Oh,
ooh, there you go.
Yeah, so this one is,
Let me get back.
Mm.
Go
oh, I
ahead.
guess,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I worked this into, I'm doing a series that are composites.
mhm.
So this was to
There we
sort of experiment with what it would look like with a main subject, that, you know, obviously the guy on the left,
Mhm.
then put him in a familiar sort of background. So the guy on the left was at a kind of a rodeo thing, and I got pictures of him, but geez, everything around him was just so busy and just unusable altogether. But the second photograph back here, the was taken just as it is,
Mhm.
and so I merged the two together, and that's what I got.
That's great.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, really cool.
Jim, you're doing some really neat work.
Uh, so it's this was up in Vermilion Cliffs
Mm.
area, and so pretty interesting. But I just wanted to focus on kind of like storytelling, you know, in a visual sense.
Mhm.
And so this was an experience or an experiment in storytelling, um, and so that was it.
And what about the filter? Is it oil paint?
Yeah, this one was what they call painterly flower. It's a series of it's the old topaz that I like to use. I just don't like getting anything else right now because I just really like this particular one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like this a lot. And what did you ask for red up in the clouds? Did you
Yeah,
or
there are versions that you pick that are have different color combinations.
Mm,
And so some are red, some are green. I'll show you another one later on. Oh no, no, I don't. There isn't one here, but I could have sent you another one that had like what they call tea green, had a tea green kind of filter over it
Uh-huh.
instead of that red. But the red was kind of like indicative of the area. You know, up in Vermilion Cliffs, everything
mhm.
is red anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
right
Red,
in.
orange, yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very nice, Jim. I like that. I like it.
So the same thing with this guy. He was in a pool room, and so he's uh, again, I was trying to tell a story.
Mhm. Yeah, it's quite a character. Looks like a villain out of Dick Tracy or something.
Yeah, 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 he really does.
Nice. I like the color palette too. Good job. Yeah, you're coming along nicely.
Wow, that's
So the
what?
same thing with this guy. I caught him at an Empire Ranch thing, and he posed for me. But you know, he didn't have a context, no, and I didn't really have anything better than this one. I would need to go shoot another one in
So
a
you
little
put
bit
him in
more
there.
Western, but it's okay.
Jim, you put him in there. He wasn't
Right,
standing there.
right.
Got it. Looks great.
Yeah. And you're compositing in Photoshop?
No, in on one.
Oh, okay. That's right. You're using it on one. You know, I would maybe tickle the edge of this mask a little bit to get rid of some of that light color.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I think you'd be in good shape. Most of it looks fine though. Just around the arms, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, one definitely that was my biggest challenge is kind of getting a clean look.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they have object selection or any kind of assist in their masking. I know Photoshop just came out with a whole bunch of ways to make masking so much easier. But yeah, look around. Maybe there's some things that'll help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. So this guy was he lived on the reservation in what do we call it? Oh my gosh, I can't. It's it's up north, and I can't even think of it. I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, again,
Navajos.
I tried two pieces that were composite, and then I put a kind of like a drawing looking thing over the top, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Then pull it back off of his face a little bit.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, your sense of
I lo-
perspective is good. You're not just putting these together. That's working out well.
yeah, love the drawing effect too.
And so this was a couple of pictures I took in Egypt, and again trying to find a way to composite and tell a story.
Mhm. Yeah, you
Everybody, if you've been to,
got.
oh, there's the other one. Yeah, see that one had a background. That's the bottom one. I know I gave two examples. I don't know which everybody likes the best.
I like the first one.
I like the first
Yeah.
one.
Yep,
I
I'll go
like
with the
that
first
one.
one. Yep,
It's more
I
desert-like.
agree.
Yeah.
Looks very antique and
Yeah.
vintage.
The first one,
Yeah.
just open up the side of the face
Well,
just a hair more. Um, this one, you got a little more detail going on there.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, you can bring some of that up in here. I think that would help. Yeah, I think I prefer this one as well.
yeah, good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's my experiments with telling a story.
Nice.
Jim,
Nice
I really
job.
like your work. The artistic effect is fantastic.
Yeah, and the compositing's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. All right. Let's go on to
Thank you.
Jim Murphy.
Yeah, this one's from my patio, Santa Rita Mountains, and kind of over the top with colors, but so
That looks good.
Yeah, that's fun. I like the textures. It looks almost chalk drawn.
I can't. I did this a couple weeks ago, and I can't. I did a bunch of bunch
Yeah.
of effects on it, and
Yeah.
kept playing with it and playing with it. Spent too much time on it. So.
Yep, been there, done that.
Nice
Yeah,
colors, Jim.
that worked out well.
I'd probably change that frame color, but yeah, this is kind of a fun view from the patio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a beautiful painting.
This is from my Angry Bird series.
Yes.
This guy did not like me taking his picture.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, those white brows and jowls kind of accentuate it.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that a lot.
That just made me chuckle a little bit, so I threw that one in.
Cool.
Ooh,
That's nice.
It's very
Yeah.
nice.
This one I created some negative space around the bird just to draw you into the bird more, not distract you with ripples. Other than I attached him with wakes and got rid of the rest of the water effects around him. And then I used a topaz on him, and which one was it? I don't know. Fur and feathers, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember.
Interesting.
yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's very good, Jim.
very good.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
The textures are really nice. And the colors are beautiful.
Very
That's
common
good
bird
work.
breed. This
Alex,
was from This is from last night. It looks a little bit dark on my screen here now, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think you're pretty much in line. At least from what I'm seeing here. I don't know what everybody else's screens look like.
Where is that little bridge?
Torres Blanca Golf Course.
Oh, Torres Blancas. Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't ever pay any attention to it. It's moody, you know, it's nice
Same
and
thing that happened to me, except yeah, I get the camera in the tripod. I've got myself in there too. Got a shadow of myself as well. Nice. Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, and again from last night, a little bit of Milky Way.
Yeah.
The cactus on the left was pretty out of focus, so I just darkened it down so you didn't notice it so much.
Mhm.
Whereas I guess what is that plant on the right? Is that a yucca or what is that?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
yucca.
Yeah, so that was in pretty good focus. So I had it a little bit brighter.
What lens were you using, Jim?
I was using a 28 millimeter f2.8. No, yeah, is that right? 20, I think it was a 28. Yeah, that's right, 28 millimeter.
Well, and you had a 24?
Yeah, is it a 24, 28? Oh, I
No,
got it right here. It's a
no, Alan,
28.
yeah, Alan had a 24 and what, a 16?
Yeah,
That was a 14
Oh, 14.
millimeter, 2.8.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You
Yeah.
didn't show any of your stuff from last night.
No.
Yeah, we all got together last night around 11 o'clock and went over there. It was kind of interesting.
That's past my bedtime.
Mhm.
Saw a couple of nice meteors. The first one we saw was really bright, but we weren't set up yet.
yeah.
It was pretty amazing. I guess the showers are what, through the 5th? I think they're this weekend. I think they're closer to dawn though. They intensify, but we must have seen about 2 or 3 of them last night while we're just there. It was about 11, 12
Hard
o'clock.
time getting rid of those lights on the mountains over there. You don't really realize that the light spreads over such a huge area.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not, yeah, it really kind of contaminates a huge area. You kind of look, you can see those light areas on the mountain there, and they're kind of a pain. I worked with them a bit, but
Yeah.
they're really hard to get rid of. They don't look terrible, but
Well, as long as we got this, let's play with that new landscape and see what it gives you.
I in fact used
Yeah.
that new landscape.
Did you?
So for the first time, yeah. So it's kind of fun. You
Yeah,
isolate the mountain, not on this particular picture, but on another one, you isolate the mountain sky and so forth.
yeah. Put you back
So,
there.
Jim, these are long exposures,
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't want to let me get rid of this. Improve actions. Well,
15
whatever. Okay.
seconds.
So let's go over here. And so we go to landscape, just like when I was working on Alan's photo. What it does is it will detect it. And then it give you different masks for the different areas you want.
That's awesome.
So I guess
Mhm.
natural ground might work for that. We got one for the sky, got one for the mountains in the back, vegetation in the front. I guess we could do the water too. Yeah, we'll do them all. All right. So again, make sure this is selected so you got separate masks, otherwise you just get one big blob.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's go for the vegetation first and see if maybe we can. Is this the one? No. This one, natural ground. Okay. So we can take a look at that one and you take it down just a little bit. Make it a little darker. Let's see where our clippings in another area, so we can deal with that later. Yeah, so you can play with it a little bit. Or we're on the natural ground. So yeah, that'll bring it down a little bit. This might work as just kind of up the contrast a little bit.
Mhm.
And then, for the sky, you can play around with possibly making it a little darker if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And it'd be
Yeah.
good.
Whenever I do those, you have to fool around with the exposure in the sky because it gets all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of play with the texture and clarity a bit. Maybe a little dehaze. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, there we go. And that'll help it out.
Cool.
Buttons.
Very good.
Got a
Yeah.
little saturation in the Milky Way one would help.
Now the focus on the cactus there, that's because you're focused on infinity, right?
Yes. And I'm too close, a little bit, I should have been a little bit further back from the cactus probably, so
Yeah, I had that problem on some of them too.
it was hard to see in camera at night that,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so let's find the one for the vegetation. Okay. And maybe we just might want to darken that stuff down a bit.
Yeah, then you're yeah, that's better.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it's affecting the rest of the area. Let's see here. Yeah, see, if you wanted to keep some of this in there, you could go into the mask and where are we
would
here?
dehaze on the mountains take down that little glare, I wonder?
Oh, here?
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, I think I actually brought that back up again over here. Let me see. No, I didn't. Okay, let's go back to, was that natural ground? Yeah, that's where we were working. Um, you can just take down some of that shadow detail if you want. That might help. Dehaze might do it too. Where do they put the dehaze in this one? I think it's under.
Because the subject is the sky, right?
Right.
Yeah, we guess. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so adding some dehaze would definitely take it down. We're gonna do that, then we should probably take that shadow. Bring it back up a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
Not quite as smoky. All right, so back to the vegetation. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So turn that on. If we want to bring back some of this detail here, we can go into subtract with a brush in that area. I'm gonna use my bracket key to make that a little smaller. And maybe take the flow or the density down. Take the density down a bit. Just kind of bring that back where you want it. That's probably more than enough. You can hit your option key and then take it down to maybe 50%. And darken it up where you got a little too light. Yeah, just bring a little detail on the top of that tree. Yeah, so that point it's taking it down, but not everywhere. So you can get pretty selective with it, but it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you right away.
Right.
Then you can
Right.
work it out from there. So
Great picture though.
yeah, so basically there's your before, here's your after.
Yeah, Milky Way definitely looks better in the afternoon.
Does or does not?
Does, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
got more contrast and depth and to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think so too. And just being able to work on the sky by itself, it helps. Um, when we were all shooting our histograms, if you tried getting it to the proper, full across to the right, everything was pretty much overexposed, especially the sky. So you got to keep that in mind when you're doing these night shots. I think I was like about a less than a quarter on the histogram to the right. It was mostly in the dark areas because pretty much everything there is dark. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these.
It's leaning a little bit to the left, it looks like now. Uneven. Normally I don't like to do symmetrical shots with the tree in the middle, but did it here and just added in some. You can't really tell it's night, unfortunately, and when I got done with it. So there were clouds, so you don't really see the stars. I didn't really like the poles on the right, but oh well.
Yeah, again, you
Oh,
could
well.
go in here and pick the sky and pick the water and landscape and work those down
Okay.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
using the landscape.
Yeah, work those down, get some more detail out of the sky and darken it down quite a bit. And then, bring this down just a little bit if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, that would work real well on this. Okay. Thank you. Pat, let's see what you got. Well, it looks like a lot of these are raw images.
All except the first one.
All right, let's look at the first one and then we'll go to the raws. Okay.
Strange bird.
Oh,
Green heron. It was up at Sweetwater
Oh, okay.
and I basically cropped it.
Yep. Decided they wanted to give it in studio, huh? All right. Hang on, let me have that. Hang on a second, Pat. There we go. You know, might want to try a little vignette or something to darken all this stuff around here. That might be a quick way to fix that.
That bird's got a giraffe neck.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them straight up
I
like
have
that.
never
Usually
seen it.
they're kind of scrunched down and leaning forward. That's interesting.
There's been one out at the pond, but he he's never in view like this guy was.
Yeah, he's usually over in the back on the left as you're facing the pond from the parking lot. Yeah, I've seen him before. But yeah, he's stuck together. I got him once off the bridge there where it spills out at the end of the pond.
Yeah,
But yeah, most of the time he's back in that bush area.
yeah.
Nice. I like that.
So besides a vignette, what would anything else you would do?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see how the eye's looking. Yeah, you might be able to bring up the eye of hair. Yeah. Well, let's take a look. Hang on. Yep. Get a hold of it there. Use my mouse. There we go. All right. So back to camera raw. I usually take it down pretty far and then see what I like
Oh,
to do with it as far as shaping it. Yeah, you can bring the highlights back, but in this case, I don't think we want to. Um,
The radial filter, you can kind of customize your vignette with the
yeah,
bird.
yeah, I'm not liking this at all. I'm so used to using the one in uh, Neo where you can really work on it. Yeah, let's just drop out of this one. Good suggestion. We're going to stay here. Go down the radial gradient. Up and open. See how it further is. And invert it. Maybe make it a little bigger. Guess we'll see how that looks. Then we can adjust accordingly.
Yeah, that's better.
Just drop all the highlights down, maybe take some whites down a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then the next thing I would do is get a brush, come in tight. And just brush the eye a bit. I'm going to turn off the auto mask and just do the whole thing. And if it gets to be a little too big, we'll do the erase on it. So start with maybe just shadow detail and see what happens. It's not showing a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then we'll come back, we'll hitting the option key or the alt key if you're using a PC. And then take your flow down. Just kind of Take that white back
There
down.
you go.
Yeah. So. So yeah, so there's your before, here's your after.
Would you take that reed out of where it's coming out of his head?
I don't know. Maybe I'd darken it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it the same way. Just get a brush, paint that with a mask, and then adjust it down to where you want it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see what else you had here.
Well, I brought the studio shots and they're all the same except some of my settings were different on the different ones.
Okay. All right, I'll just use preview, then we can go through them. So what I would suggest at some point is to crop out the background stands there.
Yes. No.
Okay. Here's the next one. I think I like that one a little better. What do you guys think?
I like the first one, but yeah, it should be, if it were cropped in a little bit, it'd be really nice. I like the background of it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the background enhances it a little better on this one than just it all open.
This one's too bright.
Mhm.
On the first one, Sandy, that one in the background, you almost see a line.
Yeah,
And I guess I think that's distracting.
okay. Well, this one obviously needs to be
Too bright.
worked on in post. So now somebody else. All right. So I guess it would depend on what you're looking for. You can work on some.
That rusty color is
Mhm.
better like in these shots,
Mhm.
but they're almost too dark.
I like the effect of that first one.
Yeah, I do too. You might hit the shadows a little bit and open the shadows up. Maybe that would make a difference, but
Mhm.
it's just a tad dark, but I like the overall, that one better, I think.
Yeah.
Sandy, can we crop that one?
Oh yeah, it'll have to get cropped. Yeah, that's the least of the problem.
Yeah, because it's nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take this one just to see what's going on here. And see if we can achieve kind of what the feeling is on that one that everybody seems to like, or at least Ellen does. So first what I would do is see if I can select the subject. See how well it does a pretty good job. Okay. And from there we can open the shadows up a little bit. You bring the blacks up just a hair. All right.
Now, when you open the shadows, will that give more hair, more texture in her hair?
Well, the hair we can work on later if you'd like. Um, let's just do this first. Let's see what it looks like at 100%. I'm gonna move you guys over. Oh, it is at 100%. Okay. Well, we'll just zoom in a little bit, take a look. No, that's 100%. There we go. I wonder what I was saying 100% before. I think you're pretty good. We could probably get a little more out of it. Not much problem. You would just create a mask for that. But getting back to the overall image, we're kind of there. We could take this mask and duplicate it and invert it. That will let you have the rest of the area. And then you could take it and darken it or lighten it, depending on what you wanted. Maybe somewhere in there. The other thing you could do to make it a little more rusty is play with the color. You could add a little more magenta and yellow to it. Is that what you were looking for? Something more of that?
Yeah, maybe even just a little darker in that area.
Yeah, we can do
Oh,
that.
you're on the background?
Yeah, I'm just on the background.
Okay. Yeah, then not darker. Well,
Well, hang
Uh,
on. We can make it dark like that, and then we can kind of come in and just add another mask. Maybe we'll do a radial blur, radial gradient rather, to give you that striped effect you guys liked. And we're going to see if we can subtract the subject. There we go. Okay. We're probably going to want to get rid of it here too, right? But for now, let's just see what we're doing with it.
Oh,
Just accordingly. If you want a little harsher, you can take that feathering down a little bit. Okay.
oh.
So I almost don't mind it coming through here. You can eliminate that if you want by just painting it out with a but yeah,
yeah, I don't mind that under there either.
yeah, I think it kind of pulls in. I feather it down a little bit here. So what we can do is go back here and go to this mask. I'm going to show the overlay just so I can see where it is. All right. And I'm going to subtract with a brush. I'm going to get a really good size one. I'm going to take it down quite a bit. Let's look at the density alone, just take the flow. There. That's a little better.
Mhm.
The other thing, maybe, it's almost looking a little bit milky there. We could definitely put a little contrast in there. Kind of like that. How's that working for you?
Yeah,
Excellent.
that looks good.
Yeah. So rather than just having that hard edge, you can control it like a little spotlight on your background.
Yeah, see, we use that diffuser trying to get, the backdrop wasn't it kind of a gray with a little bit of this color in it?
Yeah, the background was like a vinyl and it was getting kind of a milky reflective quality from the
Yeah.
light spilling off the main
Yeah.
light. So,
No,
so I took a big diffusion panel and tried knocking it down, but the edge of the panel was putting a hard shadow there. So then we ended up just taking it all the way across, so it took the light off the whole background. And then we eliminated the shadow because it was over here somewhere at that point. And
well, and she, originally
now,
she had a shadow under her chin,
yeah,
but that, when we
yeah, I
use
think
that
that had
diffuser,
shape.
that,
I like that. So getting back to the hair, if you want to open the hair up, we can create another mask here with a brush. Okay, and we just put the auto mask on and let's just see if we can paint the hair. And then we're going to come in with Option key and get rid of the rest that's outside here. Get a little bit over here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave it on the chin. We'll see what it does. If it's too much, we'll take it off. But what we're gonna do is go in and open up the shadows a bit. Maybe a little bit of exposure. I'll bring the black up a hair, but I don't want to get too milky with it. Let's zoom in a little bit and see how that looks. Yeah, I think the black's starting to. There we go. I usually like to turn it on and off and see what it's doing. I think that's helping it out a bit. I may want to go down and add some texture and clarity to it. Nope, wrong mask. Where are you? There you go. Okay. Yeah. I don't mind it opening up this area a little bit here. See how that's just opening it up slightly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps. Okay. Well, let's click OK on that. Well, click open since we're working the native camera, and that's where we're at. So now we can go in and crop it if you want. I may leave this for you to crop because I don't know what size you're going to print it.
I probably will do 11 by 14
Okay.
or 16 by 20. They're,
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'm going to leave you as much as possible of the actual background.
okay.
Obviously, 11 by 14, you can lose some top and bottom if you're going full width.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Can you save that for me?
Sure. Put R for retouched.
Okay,
All right. Okay.
thank you.
Sure. No, it's still saving here.
So did it save as a JPEG or a PSD or what?
PSD.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't want to give it any compression or anything.
yeah,
So
thank you.
let's see how big it's going to be. Where did I save it? Yeah, there it is. It's still come up. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's about 400 some odd megs. That's why it took so long to save. All right, I'll put that in. You can download it. I'll give you the directions for that, and then let me know when you have it so I can delete it and make some room so we can
Okay,
continue with our classes. All right, let's see.
thank you.
Let's go to Paula. Oh, Paula, by the way, can you do JPEGs for uploading?
Sure,
Yeah, they're
sorry.
pretty big. Yeah, this one's like 200 megs. Yeah, so I guess we're just getting some people having problems with getting things uploaded today because it was getting pretty full. Yeah, no big deal. All right, is that all of them, or did we have another one?
Oh, just those four.
Okay, we got four. Okay. All right.
This guy was sitting underneath the feeder that he was feeding from. I just cropped it up close and add some texture, took down the background a little bit. And his feet a little bit more. I just liked his expression, mouth full of food.
Yeah. Like that little painterly texture you're using again.
That's the stylized in Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. Anybody have any comments on this one?
Maybe another angry bird.
Yeah, he's looking out the corner of his eye there.
Yeah.
There you go. Quit watching me.
And this fellow was just sitting there. I cropped out quite a bit and brought it in.
Mhm.
The only thing I wasn't sure of was that piece of wood that's on the right next to his foot, whether I should take that out or leave it or, but I left it. I thought added a little balance or something, but
Yeah, I think so. No.
use some of the stylized and brought the focus down in the back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he certainly pops. That's nice. And I like the angles you've got going on here with all the different lines. Whoop. Rid of that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this is some of the first blooms on one of the oleanders out by the house that I just took a photo of. Added a little bit of texture, stylized to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're really lovely inside.
Mm.
Nice. Yeah, I like the way you accentuate the flowers and drop the background back. Works out nicely.
This was actually a tree stump that I saw out walking, and I took a picture of it and I said, I'm going to do a parametric with that.
Right.
And that's what I ended up with.
Really cool.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I put a vignette around the gray part and then put another black border around that.
Uh-huh.
Really nice.
Yeah. Maybe we can pull just a little more detail out of highlights.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, you're right. That probably should need to come out a little bit.
yeah, take the highlights down and the white up just a little so you get the most out of it. Still keep it bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, is anybody? Nope. Guess down to me. I got quite a few. Had some from the trip and then some from last night, so I guess we'll go through them pretty quick. Keep hitting that back one. All right. So this is near Moab. There's a drive along the Colorado River with these amazing cliffs. A lot of people climb them, but I just love the varnish on them. Just happened to see a play with some contrails going by, so I incorporated that into the shot. This next one's in that same area. It's at the Needles near Canyonlands. And just love
That's
those
nice.
gnarly old trees.
That's a nice image. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was getting toward dark, but
Hey, Sandy, I was curious if we could maybe sometime, not this time maybe, but how you guys are designing your logos of your name and stuff.
oh, okay.
I'd like to know that
They're
too.
they look more like hands written rather than machine written.
Yeah. Yeah, mine I actually worked on paper and just scribbled and yeah, I was signing that way, but I wanted to make it a little more legible than just scribbling. And of course, every time I did it, it was different. So finally got what I liked, and I took it into Photoshop and cleaned it up. And then you just make a PNG out of it so you can overlay it. But you
Hmm.
save the PNG with transparency. You knock the
Right.
background out. Yeah. And it works out pretty well. If you
Hmm.
scan it in, make it black, and then lose the background, which was white in my case because it was just a piece of paper. That's one way to do it. There are some services that'll do it as well, but
Hmm.
they tend to be a little more mechanical. I think if you go online and just look for signature marks, you can find one of those. I think they're about $50 to $75, and they'll just do it for you.
Paula, did you do yours that way?
Paula's still
Okay,
here?
she didn't hear me.
No, maybe she stepped out for a minute. Alan, did you do yours that way?
No, I got mine done, Photo Logo, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Photo logo?
Photo Logo,
Yeah.
and I think it was
photo
50 bucks.
logo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I use the software package for mine as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was, I was, I thought I should be able to have created my own, but I was really quite unhappy with it. So that was back then.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit easier doing them digitally. I mean, back in the day, I used to have to hand sign them all. It was never quite the same, and you inevitably do a really bad one. You have to make a new print.
Right.
So this is much easier. And this is back in that little canyon we hiked to. I was down below, and Pam was up on the ridge with some backlight going. And she likes to carry an umbrella to take her shade with her, so that was a nice shot.
Yeah.
And that's in Chaco Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just amazing amount of kivas.
Structures.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you do a panorama
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
panel?
4 shots or 5 shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just stitched them up.
Sandy, were they living areas or swimming pools or what?
No, the kivas were where
Swimming pools.
yeah, they do their ceremonies and gatherings. They had roofs on them at one point.
I
Yeah,
see.
I've got a better example of one that was reconstructed that's above ground, kind of above and below ground that I'll show you coming up here. But yeah, this is another kiva in the ground, so you can kind of get an idea of it. This was at a place called Aztec Ruins, which is kind of northwest of there, and this is also from that area. Really like that.
Well, they
Mm.
did brickwork,
Yeah,
building masonry.
yeah. Pretty amazing. But yeah, here's the exterior of this Cuba,
Let's see.
which is partially above ground and partially below ground. Here's the interior, so you get an idea what they look like.
That's fantastic.
This one's huge.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's a nice house.
yeah. So I included this to kind of give you a feel of what it looks like inside, but I really like this shot. A little more abstract.
And where was this at, Sandy?
This is at Aztec ruins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's in our state here.
no, it's up in Utah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, well, a curious guy on the way into Chaco because he hadn't seen anybody for a while.
Hmm.
And then last night,
Oh, wow.
Did you work on that?
oh
All
yeah,
the masks. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
That's
pretty
great.
amazing. That's amazing.
it's really weird that you got all these little stakes, I guess, to keep people from falling in the water hazard on the other side. I didn't even see those until I got the photograph. It was so dark out.
That's to indicate a water hazard. Doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, yeah, pretty nice. I may take this a little light out here, a couple of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some good detail on the mountains there.
Yeah, I may darken this down a little bit. It's getting a little milky in here,
That's really neat.
but yeah. This one,
I
this
tried a panoramic last night
yeah.
and was kind of disappointed of it. It worked, but every shot of the sky was like a different shade, and
Oh,
it was I had
you're in
to,
manual, right?
yeah, I threw them out. I just it didn't work. So I
Yeah.
don't know what went wrong there.
Yeah. If you're in manual and your shutter and aperture and ISO are the same, it should be fine. But if your ISO is floating, it'll do that.
Oh, I had set the ISO. So set the ISO and I'd set the white balance as well. So
Interesting. That's kind of strange. Yeah, this one I got kind of a glow around here, and I don't know if I should take some of that out or not. What do you
I
guys
like
think?
it. It's
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah. Kind of like it too.
It's really amazing to look at.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so it was an interesting evening for us, and as you can see from well, I guess Alan didn't show his, but everybody
yeah,
had a
I
little
could have
bit of,
brought one in, but I had that one from last week, and I
yeah,
really wanted to get the dark road.
yeah, I like that. Our desert highway. Yeah, I'd make it a little darker. I think you'll have something there. Very cool. All right.
So you
Well,
guys were
Nice.
hoping for some meteors? Is that what it was?
yeah, we saw a few, but mainly we were out there shooting the Milky Way. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me
All right, I have to go, guys. Thanks very much.
Bye, Alan.
sure.
See you next
Bye, Alan.
couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yep, yep, every other week. I may have to send you a new link since we're having trouble logging in.
I
So
didn't have trouble. No.
no, I did.
Know why you had trouble? Because it wanted me to be the host, and after
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. And
trying,
I saw there was an option to move it to me, and so I grabbed it. But yeah, let me see, because I look on the calendar and then none of them are scheduled out, so I'll have to get a hold of the camera club and have them scheduled, and they'll probably put a new link in.
okay.
If that's the case, use the one in the email, not old ones, for the next
Right.
meeting and going forward. All right, let me see here. Where do I stop my?
Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye,
Take care.
Alan.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.